Welcome everyone, good morning. So very welcome to the FABERNOVEL for this breakfast sharing. So today we are going to talk about the Chinaverse. So maybe some of you have already read our Chinaverse report or some may not, but here I can guide you through very rapidly of this report and give you some idea about what the Metaverse is and what the Chinaverse is. So my name is Simin Lin. I'm the head of research at FABERNOVEL. And today's presentation will be organized in 4 different parts, but I will pass through them very quickly as we have only 20 minutes. So the first part, we are going to talk about what is the Metaverse. And then we are going to look what the China Metaverse will be. And in the third part, let's look at a little bit of the brand strategies in China. And finally, we imagine a little bit what the future will be with the Metaverse. So very quickly to enter into the topic. So the Metaverse wave from the west to the east. So maybe all of you have all heard of the Metaverse, I'm for sure. So initially, Metaverse was talked about in the literature and the cinemas. And as early as 1960, the French people have already think about the Metaverse and published a book called Simin Lin, Chrome 3, much more earlier than the American novel Snow Crash. And then Metaverse have been landed in the different movies, video games, everywhere in the West from the very beginning, and then later to the East. So maybe some of you are curious about why suddenly Metaverse is become a buzzword. So when we talk about it, it seems that from the last year, but not earlier. But actually, Metaverse is a concept that has been exist for a long time, but we talk about it for multiple reasons. So it is very closely related of the evolution of the web. So let's talk about the evolution of the web. So because will give you some very basic ideas about why Metaverse is become popular in this Web3 era. So we know that internet has been gone through different stages. So the first stage can come back to the 1990s. So it is the Web 1 era where people started to connect with the information. So here we browse the information on the website, we send the emails, but at the Web 1.0 era, mostly we receive the information as the recipient. And then we enter into the 2000. So here we come to the Web 2.0 stage. Here we started to use the smartphones everywhere. So the smartphones are getting people get connected. And also we are connected to the different services, different products, and all by the cell phones. So here you can see we have the different technologies which was born. For example, the clouds, the different social medias. People start to tweet, to share information with each other. And then when we come to 2020, we see that the emergence of the Web3. So Web3 is actually, it is generated with the maturity of the different technologies happened in the past. For example, like the blockchain, like the AR, like the AI. So all the gradual maturity of these technologies are giving birth to the Web3. And all these technologies, they need a playground to play with. So Metaverse is giving this playground to all these technologies so that the venture capitals knows where to invest, so where the technologies knows where to develop, and also people, for the consumers, for the audiences, we can have more interesting and immersive experience in terms of the user experience. So today, if you ask me what is the definition of the Metaverse, there are multiple definitions given by the different people from the different sectors. But we see no matter what the definition is, Metaverse has several core features. For example, the immersive, the open, evolutionary, integrative, interoperability, and the technology-driven. So immersive is very evident. It meaning that people are looking for an immersive experience. So a metaverse can basically, a good metaverse can give us a very real immersive feeling like the real world. And Metaverse is an open system that everyone can participate into the system, not only the technicians or the people in the IT, but ordinary people, they can also participate into this open system. And in terms of evolutionary, Metaverse is evolving all the time, because in the web, once you exit, you enter into the web, it can be the same thing, and it is maintained by the professionals. But as Metaverse is co-built by the different users, so it's evolving. So each time when you re-enter into the Metaverse, you can see maybe different things may happen. And the Metaverse is also integrative. It is an integration of the physical world with the virtual world. So we don't think that Metaverse is just a virtual world that you are going to live in, but it's much more an integration of the physical world and the virtual world. And interoperability means that you can have multiple items or technologies or the experience in the different metaverse, but you can bring the different things into the in the different metaverses into the different metaverses. Means it is interchangeable. So you can bring the different digital native things in the different metaverses within the other verses. And technology-driven is something that's very important for the metaverse, because without the technology, the basic technologies, advanced technologies, all the things we talk about in the metaverse cannot be happened. So this is the core features. And overall, we think that metaverse is an ecosystem that's supported by the different core technologies and infrastructures. So we have different layers. We have these infrastructure layers where you can see we have all the hardwares, for example, the 5G, 6G, Wi-Fi, the different sensors, the storage things like the CPU, GPU. And on the second layer, we have this technology, all the famous technology you have heard about, the AI, the blockchain, the cloud service, and the digital twin. And on the application level, we can have different applications of the metaverse into the different sectors, like the 2C, 2B, 2G. All the sectors can use the metaverse. And we think that metaverse will certainly disrupt multiple industries. So certain sectors, such as the video games, the music, and the social engagement, will be the places where the Metaverse 1.0 will be landed, because today you can already see multiple Metaverse applications in these areas. And we have multiple examples. For example, in the USA, in the Minecraft, they have built this city of Albi in the South France. So here, the visitors, they can, every 2 weeks, they can enter into this city and guided by the tour guide in the metaverse to know the histories and the stories of this Albi city. And in China, we have a similar thing that called the mini world. So in this game, the environmental protection NGO, they just initiate some environmental protection ideas to the players. So actually, in the metaverse, we can do multiple things, and we can hold the virtual concerts in the metaverse. And also today, when we are playing games, it's all about the social engagement. So in the past, we play with the computers, and then we play with the people. And today, we are not only playing with them, but we can also socialize with them. So these are the first areas that metaverse will enter and disrupt. And for the other sectors which have higher requirements of the technology and the applications, for those areas that metaverse will land later and progressively. For example, in the manufacturing, in the urban planning, and in the healthcare. So we know in the manufacturing, maybe I can give you 2 examples. For example, for this American company, AB InBev, they just developed this Azure digital twin to simulate their factories. So here you can have the replica of the certain procedures of the beer making in the factory. So here engineers, they can just do the simulation with the digital twin without really implementing the process or before implementing the real process in the factory. So digital twin can be widely applied in the different manufacturing companies. And in China, you know that we have launched this Mars probe, Tianwen number 1. And before launching this Mars probe, we use the digital twin to do the simulation to calculate the trajectory from the Earth to the Mars and the way back. And also it can do the simulation of the different temperature and conditions in the Mars. So before you really enter into the Mars, before you really launched your Mars probe into the Mars, you can already know what happened and what can happen. And also it happened in the urban planning. We can, before we are really constructing the buildings, or we are planning how we want to build the city, we can already do the simulations with the different metaverse tools. And in the healthcare as well, it can train the healthcare professionals, and it can also develop maybe more advanced technology, like, for example, connecting the machine to the brain so that it can cure certain diseases. So these are the basics of the metaverse. So now let's take a very quick look at what Chinaverse will be. So what happened in China now. So today we consider that the metaverse web have already arrived in China. So in China, totally we have many online users. And in a report released by IDC, they estimated that by 2025, more than 37 million of the Chinese online users will have their digital identity. So it means they will have their avatars in the metaverse. And in the last year, 2021, we see that there are 500 companies registered with the name of the metaverse, and 93% of them were just newly registered last year. So you can see the trend is becoming more and more popular. And according to Morgan Stanley, that the China metaverse market will reach 8 trillion value. So, so this is the global picture of what Chinaverse will be. And in terms of the government, we also see that the government are very proactive and encouraging the development of the metaverse. But meanwhile, we have the certain regulations on the cryptocurrency. For example, crypto mining is banned, and the NFTs, we should treat it as the collectibles instead of the a commercial product with the financial features. And also, all the tradings of the NFT should be very carefully, because they should be licensed and cannot be treated like freely in the Western world. And but actually in China, maybe some of you have already seen we have this digital yuan, digital RMB. If you use certain apps of the bank, so you already see the digital yuan. Actually, the government is encouraging people to use digital yuan because it's for the in the long term, it can maybe bring more benefits to the country's economy. And in terms of the business planification, the government has already done many things. So in the first place, in 2021 last year, in China's 15th five-year plan, the government has written the metaverse strategy into this economic plan, because this plan has a very a big impact on the national economy's development. So they have written the blockchain, the AR, VR, and the AI, all the important metaverse technologies into this national economic development plan. And also last year, we have built this first metaverse association, so in promoting the metaverse in China. And for the local government in different regions, they also encouraging and releasing the different policies in favor of the metaverse. Today in Shanghai, we can see recently they released a lot of policies in favor of the metaverse development. But in the other provinces as well, in the, for example, in the creative cultural development, in the blockchain technology, there are a couple of the policies that can benefit for the metaverse development. And for the Ministry of the Industry and Information Technology, they plan to cultivate 3,000 startups in the metaverse. So you can see the government is very proactive in developing this metaverse strategy national-wise. Yeah. And in China, it is the development of the metaverse is also something pursued by the big companies. So we know in China we have this very big four internet giants. They are all developing their strategies in the metaverse. So very quickly we see that ByteDance, they are very focused on the VR experience and the gaming. And previously, Tencent are investing a lot in the gaming, but today, ByteDance, they enter into this metaverse gaming field in competition with Tencent. And they also invested in this Chinese VR company. Yeah. And they also developed their metaverse social apps, the Partyland. But today it's still in the beta version. We cannot use it yet. And in terms of Alibaba, Alibaba is the pioneers of the cloud computing, and it has already done many things in the metaverse. So as early as years ago, it has developed this AR plus glass to let people use this VR glass to do the shopping. So when you enter into a shop, that just as if you are in the real world, but it's a virtual store, but it can with the VR glass, it can give you a real sense of feeling that you are entering into the real store. And last year in the Double 11, they launched these avatars, Ayai, to do this campaign. And also in the last year, they collaborated with a couple of luxury brands to initiate this metaverse gallery and giving the NFT collectibles for the people who purchased the luxury products in the Tmall store. For the Tencent, they always invested a lot in the gamings and in the 3D experience. So they have acquired these epic games. And in terms of the social engagement, you can see they organized a couple of the metaverse concert in China, especially some New Year metaverse concert with the pop stars. And they are also working on the smart city. And concerning Baidu, the most famous thing they have done is they developed the first China metaverse called Xirang. So if you look at on the internet, you know that there are multiple shops and even governments. They have launched their spaces in the Baidu Xirang. Because if in the future, Xirang will become the first China metaverse which integrates the different organizations, different institutions or companies, that companies they want to set their foot prior to, before everybody comes into this Xirang. They want to build it. So previously we talked about what big companies have done, and now let's see that actually in China, the metaverse, or worldwide, the metaverse is not something that manipulated or controlled by the big companies. Actually, as metaverse is a product of the Web3, which advocates a lot of the spirit of decentralization. So this metaverse and Web3 era, they will give more opportunities to the startups. So today we have seen already different startups, they are participating into the technology development of the metaverse in the different areas, like the XR, AR, like the avatar, AI, social, game, NFT, blockchain. So you can see that metaverse is not just a game for the big companies, but it's more a game that in favor of the startups and small-sized companies. So now let's look very quickly about the brand strategies in China. So as we work a lot with the companies in the retail industry, so maybe I'll give you 3 quick examples of the what the brands are doing with the metaverse in China. So we know that in the retail, we have this people, product, and space. So I'll give you 3 examples around these 3 themes. So the first thing is the people. So you can see, I give you the example of the Taobao Ayayi. So the American beauty brand MAC has worked with this meta-human Ayayi. So in the campaign of the MAC, today we are not talking about the cosmetics worn by real people, but actually Ayayi, as it's very like a real human, she will wear the makeups. And then people are talking about the makeup wears of the Ayayi on the internet. They said, okay, we will make this Ayayi-alike makeup or the sense of feelings on themselves. So it meaning that meta-human, they will have more values in the future for the product introduction, for the product trial, and for the product campaign. And another thing is we can do the promotion or the exhibition or the branding of the products on the Metaverse. For example, we have this Chinese designer Guo Pei. She has participated into this fashion week and showing her designs into this fashion week. So you can see we have multiple ways to showing, exhibiting the different products with the Metaverse. And the next the case is about the space. So in the Metaverse in the future, we have more opportunities to create different digital space to showcase the product. For example, for the Linko car, they have built this Metaverse exhibition room, so to showcase their cars. So it's a very clever idea because most of their consumers, they are under or around the age of 30. So for the people within this age range, they played a lot in the Metaverse. So if you create a showroom in the Metaverse, so you can certainly attract the right audience to your showroom to view the products. So it will be very interesting. And also we have different companies, they are developing the NFTs for the consumers. So we have finds that mostly the brands, as they cannot use NFT as a real commercial product, they do a lot of the collaborations with the different players. For example, we have this Montclair collaboration with the Pop Mart. It's through the art and toy IP collectibles. So they have released the limited editions so that people can get interested into acquiring these Pop Mart figures, and while they are looking at the Montclair products or the brands. And for the brands, they can also do the video games. For example, for the Tesla, they have exhibited their Model 3 in the game. So in the game, you have this very rare NFT purple skin of the cars. So with this game, you can do the advertising of your cars, as this game are played by almost 1/3 of the population in China. So you can see it has a very large audience you can reach. And also we find there are a lot of celebrities, they are collaborating with the NFTs, not only in China but also abroad. So this can also be a very good idea to do the collaboration. So finally, let's think about what will be the future with the Metaverse. So for us, we think that Metaverse is not a place where you are going to live in the future, but rather it is an integrated reality where the physical world and the virtual world will converge. So to prepare for the future of the Metaverse, we have to understand that in the future, the Metaverse will be a place which is very decentralized. It can be comprised of the different verses, and different players can participate into its building and construction. And also, Metaverse in the future, it can be accessed through the different devices. Today, we use mostly the smartphones and the computers to enter into the internet, the virtual space. And tomorrow, maybe there will be the AR glass, the VR glass, or it can be maybe the holographs or the computers, the smartphones. So in the future, we have different ways to get access into the metaverse. And also, metaverse can be very perceptual-centric, meaning that when you enter into the metaverse, you will have a very different perceptions of the real and the virtual world. So the different immersive experience will shape your ideas and will shape your experience. And also it can change different B2B and B2C businesses. But of course, we have to consider the challenges in the metaverse as well. They can be the CSR, like the environmental protection, because in the future, metaverse will require a lot of the computing powers, so it will consume a lot of energy. So this is a question we will think about how we can solve this issue. And also the infrastructures which will support the operation of the metaverse. We don't know how long we will reach there, maybe in 10 years, 20 years. So the infrastructure building is also very important to achieve the metaverse. And then the legal issues, surely we've seen different legal issues nowadays. And in the future, maybe there will be more legal issues like the meta-human, and in the meta space, maybe we will have these crimes. So we have to think how to regulate and to govern the virtual space. Also the different alliances of the companies, how you can work with the different partners to set up the metaverse rules for its integral building, and also the different data issues, the data security, how you can protect your data in the metaverse. Because today we have already seen a lot of data issues. In the metaverse, in an immersive world, if your data exposed, it can be more dangerous. So we have to think about how you can manage this data security issue. So finally for us, we think metaverse is about achieving the integration. Is to reflect our dreams in the physical world and build them real in the metaverse. But also we have to use the metaverse to serve for the better sake of the physical world. So here we have a dedicated Web3 team in the FABERNOVEL. So yeah, so we are ready to help the players who want to enter into the metaverse. So yeah, so thank you very much.
Wow.